I think I'm live. Let's see if I can read chat from over here though. What's up, Minflips? How are you? What's up, Jesse? Trying to make sure, because the way I have my stand set up for this, I would have just did the live stream through my computer, but I wanted to make it where, just in case this goes by faster than I think it will, that I can I could just get up and maybe start flipping or something a little bit more convenient. Because if I do it on the computer, once it's done, it's done. But the way it's on my stand, some of the messages might get cut off eventually, so I'm kind of just winging it, since I don't think I can actually look at chat through my computer here, unless maybe I log into my personal account, maybe. Let's see, doing good yourself, doing homework right now. Oh, that's rough though. I'm assuming you just got out of school then. Hey Ghost, how are you? Oh, it's the Fart Night guy. Let me see, blue and yellow. I'm gonna write that down because I have a small list here that I'm gonna try to start with before trying some other ones. Because I had a feeling that as I'm going along with this, I'll get some suggestions. I'm probably not gonna completely render out each one because honestly, even this little I mean, I don't even know what you want to call this. Just this little preview screen here, it actually does a pretty decent job of what the rendering will honestly just look like in the end. But I'm gonna kind of mess with the different lighting. Oh, actually, is that oh, it is perfect. I can actually see your, never mind. Oh, barely. Honestly, it just started. I'm kind of messing, because I can't see the chat 100%. So I'm trying to see if maybe I can pull this up on my personal account. That way I can maybe read chat through that, but I'm not sure. Stunning for a push. I do already have that as a suggestion here. Got a little list here with my chicken scratch of handwriting. My brain is not functioning. What is happening? Interesting. I'm not able to actually see my own live. Never mind. There it is. So can I see the chat from here? I can. Okay, cool. I'll probably do it that way just so it's a little bit more... I can put my phone a little bit more secure on this and not feel like it's gonna fly off at any millisecond. Let's see, I can click on silver. All right. Honestly, I'm just gonna start messing with these now. So, I'll probably go from this order. The first person recommended a bronze colorway, which I'm not even... I probably should have pictures pulled up for this, but I don't actually know if they even offer a bronze. I would say it's a decent bronze color, yeah. Yeah, something like that. 92, 66, 31. That's, yeah, leave it at that. Orange gray. I think that's roughly the orange that they offer. I'll just do my normal gray since I already know what it is. sharp, kind of what I would expect though. I mean, that gray and honestly that gray combo with just about anything will normally look good, but it will probably get old pretty quick. So I'm not sure if I want to do that this time around, at least for the next drop, not back to back at least. Black and red. I'm not sure what reds they offer off the top of my head, so we'll just go with something like that. It's probably gonna be a little bit darker. Black is black. That you can't see it, so I'll just go with that. Yeah, I know. I know Glider is probably like one of the main makers that are actually known for this dual color handle, well, just idea altogether. So I know it kind of looks that way, but honestly, even these colors are kind of right. They do look. It does look very much like a Glider. Even something about the shape of it reminds me of it. Actually, let me check something. Is it? Okay, no, just set the perspective. Let me see what I have next. This one was kind of interesting. I don't know if... Well, actually, I'm sure Glider probably has the same colorway, but I have no idea. Someone suggested purple and blue. Probably do blue on this side. So I'm not going to use the term inked only because I know that's Squid Industries' term for this, and rightfully so, it's theirs. And it goes with their style, with their whole sea-themed. But yes, blacked out blades I would like to do one day, but it would likely be like a special drop. It probably won't be anytime soon, as I would rather make sure that I'd rather focus on my actual product's performance and feel before I worry about like special cut, like real special stuff like that with blacked out blades and maybe like titanium hardware and all that kind of stuff. I'd rather focus more on the actual design first. Colorways like this I don't mind doing, like little small stuff, but when it comes to changing its overall price, like blacked out blades can be a little iffy to start. And honestly, a blacked out blade might make it look even more like a Glider at that point. The only thing that looks kind of weird in my opinion is the space inside the blade. I like to fill in it. Are you talking about this section up here? This little, I don't even know what you want to call that, but just, yeah, the little... What the... Hello? Go away. My cats are trying to duke it out in the middle of my freaking room, apparently. Yeah, so you mean this part? Yeah. Yeah, I know Blade Bias kind of had the same thing, that same opinion on it. I personally don't see much of an issue with it, but I do see how it can be a little off. I know when I was originally designing it, I did want to put something here, but I couldn't figure out a shape to put there that would look right. Like he suggested just putting another slot, maybe a thinner one. I tried that. It just didn't really sit well, so I was trying to find a better way to go about it and decided ultimately that it just looked best without it, and just leaving it filled in. What's up, Rusties? All right, next color, orange and blue. That's about their orange. I don't know if they have a light blue. I would do a long thin slime, make the top and bottom more small, let it fit. I've tried that. It just, I don't know, it didn't sit well with me, so I kind of just never, it just didn't really stick. Alright. Orange and blue is nice. Someone literally mentioned raw. Luck. Good. Okay. Aluminum brush. That's essentially silver, if you will. I mean, it doesn't look bad. The ruin surprises me again and again. In what ways? I don't know. That looks good. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know. I kind of like it. I'm not 100% sure though. I've always liked the thought of the raw look, but at the same time, when it's almost the same silver in the end as the blade, I just feel like it could be too much. But that's just me personally. Just straight up orange. What we got here? I thought it would be blade blast, but I can really feel the handle weight while fanning. So that's the weird thing I've been kind of told multiple times with Ruined, that its fanning, and honestly even I kind of believe it, its fanning is very, very natural. Like it really does not take much effort to fan a Ruined. I'm not sure where that specifically comes from, but I've never, other balance songs, like I'll fan it, some will feel good, some won't. I'll sometimes mess it up, but for some reason Ruin just feels like it never gives me issues. Rollovers feel good, but it's hard to mess those up. But I know chaplains are the things that some people, not everyone, has issues with. It entirely depends on how they flip. I do have those written down. They're a little bit later in the list that I have. See, that's what I would think as well, that it would look better in person. It's just so hard to tell. I don't think they actually have a just silver anodizing on their end, so it would literally just be raw. Bead blasted raw, and then just hoping that how it turns out. Because I know when you bead blast aluminum, it goes from like a polished looking silver to basically white, like almost near white. Next, gold gray. I kind of imagine what I know what this will look like, but we'll do it anyway. Wow, gold's kind of a hard color to, for some reason, find on here. But that's close enough. I'm sure you get the idea. Rollovers with Ruin just kind of go well. I've never personally had any issues with rollovers from with Ruined. Oh, don't mind that. It's mainly just chaplains that have so far given people issues. So I have to step away and close my door. One of my cats, I should say, are flying in and out of my room trying to terrorize the other one for some reason. Pretty common occurrence here. That is good to hear. If you ever post, I'm not sure where you might post clips if you do, but if you post on Instagram, feel free to mention me. I'd love to check them out. Mention me, DM me, doesn't really matter. I'm curious because so far I haven't seen too many clips with the Ruins, so it's nice to see clips to know that it's performing even at least halfway decent. Just straight up black. Something like that. I think that's a fair color. Oh, you got number 4. Oh, no, that's right. Number 4 didn't have the, I don't think it had the holographic sticker, if I'm right. I could be mistaken, but I think 7 had it. Or one of them, I should say. I mean, black looks nice, but it's kind of... I don't know. I mean, it looks good, but it's one of those colors where I feel like it would be hard to mess up a black handle Balisong. Let me also try this. Hold on. I'm actually not sure what would be a good light setting on here. Technically, Fusion is not exactly the top-notch program for rendering. It just kind of gives me an idea, but if I wanted like proper stuff, I would go through Blender, but I'm not any kind of Blender genius. I'm far from that. Over that. Up this. Let me try to flip back to one of the other colors now, see if this light looks good. Black was not a good option to try to determine lighting. Here, try this blue. You can't see it. Yeah, there's not enough of the color. That might be a good way to look at the color. That is the 4. Relax. That does not look like it's going to be any good. It is not. Grid light you can't see. I mean, the photo booth and the shadows are very dark, so it's kind of hard to tell, but I feel like for the sake of the color, it might be the best option. Yeah, that's probably best for the sake of the actual color. Anyway, back to black. Now it looks basically gray, but I do feel like that's kind of how it would look if you had it in the light. Let me see. Just straight up purple was next. It's brighter than what it should be. It's a little bit more like I think what they offered. Purple's kind of nice. I feel like it's different. I think it's nice more because it's different more than it is that it just suits it well, though. Cool. I know someone wanted to see red, which, well, I guess that's actually it. Yeah, you aren't wrong. I mean, in general, to me, I feel like every color kind of just suits it well in its own way. I mean, it's to me personally that the green gray combo just suits it the best. That's why I chose it. But like looking back, not even looking back, just looking at these, it's like every single one. None of them feel like, how would I describe it? I mean, no, there's no other way. It's just they just kind of feel like they're pretty neutral. Like some are better. They all feel about the same. I mean, they don't make me freak out in any way, but they're also but they're not bad either. Orange purple, which I think I accidentally did earlier. It's kind of the orange they offer. But why am I pressing advance? I don't know. Let's try that for purple. Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to be straight up honest. Out of all of them as well, so far the silver one's kind of sticking out to me the most, even though it's the one that in person I feel like it's going to be such a 50-50. If it was machine finished and it would be like a polished silver, maybe, but because it's bead blasted, it's practically going to be white, and I'm not 100% sure. For my different, yeah, 50-50 for sure. I agree. I don't know when it comes to the anodizing, because I'm doing this based off memory because I don't actually have the photos anywhere but my phone for what the different anodizing samples they sent me were, like the colors and the shades. So I actually do not recall if there's even a white. I had a few suggestions for white, and at this point, the closest thing to being white would be a bead blasted silver. That'd be the closest thing I think I would have to white, because I don't think they had a white anodizing option. Say orange, purple, red, gray. I mean, I think we can all kind of imagine that one. Red, gray. That's pretty straightforward. Yeah, I mean, a white anodizing would. I mean, realistically, I don't think they even offer white, but I feel like a white anodizing might be a little off at that point. You'd be better off trying to do something like a Teflon coating, like the Volp and that the Bally's does and all them. But I wouldn't. I can't do that just yet, so I'd have to stick to anodizing. And a white anodizing, if it's even possible, might be a little weird. Would just be better off making it bead blasted, but then it would be weird to have one that's a raw handle and then one that's anodized. Would make for a very interesting flipping experience, I imagine. One handle that's got ever so slightly more grip than the other. I mean, red and gray looks good, but that's kind of again, even though I do like that gray and any other color combo, it probably would be a good idea to change up from that gray for this next drop, unless I was to just do solid gray. Purple, white, so that, yeah, see, that's where that came in. So that purple will say, and then this. I mean, it works, and this is completely a guess. I mean, this might not even be exactly how it would look. This is how I imagine it would look after it's bead blasted. Yeah, like the Mako, like you're talking about. Cerakoting and Teflon are like the only two ways I would think a good white would be achieved, other than basically just the result out of a bead blast. I mean, it looks good. I do kind of feel though that at this point I do kind of feel like the single color silver though might be a little bit nicer than a silver. I'm just calling this silver, but silver and purple. The other option was blue silver. Yeah, I mean, I feel like because of how much to put it simply, silver there is across this entire piece. Adding a separate color like that just kind of... I mean, it definitely makes it stand out. You're not going to miss it as a bite handle. I promise you that. If you miss it, then I don't know what to tell you. But it is one of those where it kind of just sets it a little too far off, in my opinion. But that's just me. In the end, I'm going to be going through these, kind of picking out what I think looks best and could be the biggest hit, and then just taking a poll on it later. But, I mean, so far, nothing has, like, blatantly stood out to me where it's like, yeah, no, this is definitely going to be the next drop. So, for that reason, I'll probably end up doing a poll on it. Dual-toned handles, yeah. I think it would too, honestly, but for the sake of its price point trying to stay low, I would probably have to stay away from that for now, but I definitely do want to. Eventually, most of my designs, I will do like a dual tone drop or something. The next one's just... Didn't I already put just blue? No? There's all blue. Okay, no, I definitely didn't do all blue. I mean, that's sharp. I feel like it kind of suits it, but I also feel like all blue handles are kind of overdone. Ruined, this design that you're looking at on the screen. I'll quickly... there you go. That looks like this. Is 125. I am not going to try to pull up the files for the other two that are coming up, only because it's going to take at least an age and a half for it to load them. But I'll say it by name, and if you check out the values later, then you should know what I'm talking about. But Rift, which is a purple titanium Balisong, was 325, and the soon to be, I don't know how soon, but it should be first half of 2025 here. But the soon release of Shattered, finally, is set to be around 220. A little higher than I would like for aluminum, but I mean, I sadly can't control my pricing, but I do also intend to go a little bit above and beyond. I know with Rift I included a sticker, Ruined I included a sticker, but I tried to be a little bit fun with it by making it like 5 out of 30 of them to have holographic versions of the same sticker. But for Shattered, I'm probably going to do another sticker, and then I'm going to have, I'm not the Repo? I'm not sure how he pronounces that. Make a second illustration for me that I'm going to use and include as like a acrylic keychain. For the case, I have no idea what I'm going to do for a Shattered case just yet. I'm still got to ponder on that one. I still have the old original case that I made for the version 2, but it's just, I don't know. For my ability to model has gotten so much better in the past 3 years that I'd rather do something bigger. So far, and I'll tell you straight up, because I'm not gonna lie. The only issue with the flippability across my Balisongs at the moment, it's a pretty common one across them that I'm hoping will be corrected with Shattered, as I did try something a little different for that one, is Chaplains. That is the only issue I've truly heard about flippability. Rift had a lot of ifs, ands, and buts because it's a very weird design, to say the least, where for most people, they didn't have an issue with it more than they did just have small issues. Like if they had small hands, they may not like the very rough texture, if you will. Some people thought that the thin handles were weird, but that was about it. That's all I ever heard of it. No one really had issues with it, to my understanding. Chaplains, a lot. I never really heard much about it, but I got like 3 people that were telling me that they had issues with doing Chaplains. Now, that could come down to skill reasons. That could come down to just how they chaplain. It may not work the best for everyone. And I've heard the same thing about Ruined. I've only heard 2 people say they've had chaplain issues. out of 15 that sold, and one of which were Blade Bias, which is also one of the individuals that told me Rift was having issues with the chaplains as well. So that you can take that how you would like, but that is the only known flippability issue. But Rift is set and gone with anyway for now. It's going to come back as a version 2. Really? But then you increase. Yeah, so, and that's where it's like, it's really, really tough to just take a few people's word for it having an issue. I'm just simply kind of relaying feedback. Out of 30 people that got Rift, I only had maybe 4, I don't even know, 4, maybe 3 or 4 people tell me that they were having issues with chaplains on it, and one of which was Blade Bias. And then Ruined, out of 15 that have sold, I've only had 2. And again, one of which was Blade Bias. So I'm not sure. My designs may not... Something about the weight distribution of my designs may not be the most effective for some people to do chaplains, but for the majority, it might be okay. I do know with Ruined, a recent thing I kind of realized was this big chunk here might contribute to some of the issues with chaplains because I removed a little too much material from the back end, but as of now, if it's not causing enough people issues, I don't want to correct something that isn't broken. You know what I'm saying? So if it comes to light that more people agree that it's just not flipping well, then different story. I'll correct it later. Anyway, next colorway, black and purple. I feel like I've had enough of the black color, but I'm going to do it again anyway. Do that. Done. Purple. There you go. That one's sharp. I mean, there's not much more to say than that, but honestly, the black is not far off from gray. So it's also not anything that I'm going to brag about either. It's not bad, though. Now I have a light blue, which, I don't know, do they offer a light blue? No, blue and yellow. Holy bright. I have those backwards. That is still incredibly bright. How do you make yellow not bright, though? Alright, flip that around. There we go. That's not bad. Probably not going to do that one. I'll doing gray again. Black seems strange. Orange, purple. Stick with that. Get rid of gray again. White, blue seem. Actually. Blue. Black, purple. I know people wanted to see like a cotton candy color, so I'll put that there. Put this one here. I don't know if they have a light blue. I'll consider it though. Etch this one out. This one though. Those are definitely mid. I do believe this makes all of different colorways though. Which means I have blue. Purple, red, purple, raw, orange, blue, purple, blue, black, red. No worries, you're good. Welcome back. Yellow, candy, okay. So, let's see. Let's try all blue again. All blue looks nice. Catch you, Ben. Good luck on the test. Of course. Take care. So gunmetal would basically be this. The lighting isn't great to show it off, that it's darker than it actually is, but I mean this gunmetal is kind of like the gray I have on Ruined as it is. Both ways? On Ruined is, so it should be 1/2 inch. Without minding this, of course, that's just a design factor, but yeah, it should be 1/2 inch vertically and horizontally here. It does have a curved surface though, as you can see here. So it's 1/2 inch going from the very top of that curve to the very bottom of this curve. Handles are 5.7 inches in length, if you round up. So I'm going to keep blue on this list. Let me see about orange and purple again. Off the top of my head, I actually don't recall. Hold on. Let me pull it up on my other monitor. I believe it's 3.9 ounces, but I want to be correct if I'm going to tell you that. I know it's on my website, though. I always forget this one's weight, because every time when I modeled it, it was said to be one thing, and then when I actually got the unit, it was another weight. It was off by like 0.2 ounces. Yeah, okay, 3.9 ounces. I was right. But yeah, I think it was supposed to come in at like 3.7, and ended up being 3.9. 124.99. Orange and purple, I'm probably going to cancel out, only because I'd rather keep a colorway like that for Halloween. If I do a Halloween ruin drop. Red. Red is nice, but I feel like the blue suits it better if I'm going to go with a single color. Purple. Meow. Balance it's modeled to be in at light handle bias, but some might it might be like light handle bias neutral-ish. I feel like that purple actually isn't right. The blue kind of suits it better, though, I'm going to be honest. I feel like if it was a different shade of purple, it might be nice. That's probably the more accurate color shade, but I don't know. That blue still looked nicer on it. You can go to, actually, here, I'll type it in the chat for you so you can read it off rather than me trying to spell it out. Oh, that's my personal account. Well, anyway, yeah, shatterconceptballasongs.com. You can pick one up there. Current colorway. Where am I at again? These are not the current colorway. The current colorway is green and gray, just like this. Okay. Yes, I did do the cotton candy one. I can show you again real quick, though. Since I know you requested it while you were here, so I'll show you. Yeah, he liked it a lot more than... I was actually kind of worried he wasn't. If I'm being straight up honest with you, I kind of was worried he wasn't going to like it. So, I don't know if... I'm not sure. Can I actually pull up... I know I can pull up Instagram on my computer, but I don't know if I can look back at my older, like, stories, because I know I just recently... Oh, of course I have to log in. Wait. Yeah, but the problem is I'm working with someone else's requirements when it comes to anodizing colors. Unfortunately, if I choose a color that they don't offer, or even a shade of color that they don't offer, it is considered custom, and it's like a $200 fee just to have a quote-unquote custom color. And if I'm going to do something like that, it's not going to be on Ruined. And if I do, it's going to be a very, very special drop, and it will have a higher price. Which I would personally rather not do. Not as a second drop, at least. Maybe down the road I will. Oh, God. Okay, yeah, I don't have my... I'm not gonna remember that. I can show you what it looks like, but it's probably not gonna do much good if I don't have the, if I can't get them to do it. probably a tone like that. I'll raise that all up a little bit, and let me fix the, because of how bright these colors are, this is not the greatest in light environment for it. I'll try that one. This, where is it? That is not great either. Hold on. I thought that was the one I normally use. So, oh, this one I think. And my cat sneezing. Yeah, it's something like that. I could probably raise the color to pink a little bit more, but I don't know. Can't mess with it too much though. I can. Can I actually, let me move it over this way. That might make it a little bit better. The lighting is not working with me at the moment. Soft lights. Nope. Photo booth is the one I was using, but it kind of. Maybe if I lower the, if I raise the exposure up, no, down, sorry, and then do it this way, maybe I can have a little bit more control over it. But something about it still just doesn't. No. Yeah, like I said, the issue with them is, according to them, once it's made once the custom color is made once and they're a manufacturer, it doesn't matter if I'm the one to do it. From there, everything is good. And it shouldn't be a fee in a future batch. The problem is, if I'm not the one to, or if I don't do it, it's going to be like, I think, an additional $200 just to have a custom color, let alone 2. So that's $400. And Ruined, there's almost no excuse to raise a price of a $125 Balisong to like almost $160 just for a colorway, not black blades or dual tone or anything, just for a colorway. That there's no excuse for it. Blade is a hardened 440C. Welcome back, Rusties. Where is? Oh, okay. I mean, I genuinely cannot find. That would probably be the best light environment for this colorway, but yeah, that's what it would look like roughly. Handle here is a 7075 aluminum. Not much different. It's not 6061 like I think Glider uses, but it is the step up. Handle length maybe. Blade length absolutely not. Blade length is 4.7 inches, which is, nope, wait. I corrected myself literally the other morning. It's 4.8. As for the price, the Rift, I would say, is a good price for titanium. Ruined, I'm not going to lie to you, I'm taking a pretty massive hit on when it comes to profit. I will say that it was a screw up in price, but I told everyone 125, so I stood by it. But realistically, I'm a decent bit under margin for that one. So virtually, I'm only making back enough to make another drop, practically. More than I am to really say that I can use profits to invest into much else, let alone if I was to ever consider payroll. I don't pay myself at the moment, but of course, one day down the road, I do intend to do everything in-house and, work for myself. But at the moment, it's a great price. I'm not upset by it, but I will say that as a fact, yes, it is probably lower than it should be. Not just as a quality standpoint, but for my own self. I see you sent a message. It's halfway cut off, so I'm trying to wait for it to pop. There it is. Then the price if it's pushing. I believe for me to hit margin, not including payroll, I think I was supposed to sell it at 140, if I remember correctly. I don't remember. I did the math a while ago, but I'm not gonna cry over spilt milk. So, yeah, I think if I was literally just to want to hit margin, I think 140 was supposed to be the number. But if I wanted to include the idea of payroll down the road, yes, 160 was roughly where that was at. If not payroll, if not 160, like 150. As of for changing the price, I'm probably gonna up the price not due to just making up my loss down the road, but I'm probably gonna wait until I do a V2 and up the price that way. I've already stood by 125, so I'm planning on sticking with it. At the moment, I don't intend to be paying myself anything for quite some time. All profits go right back into the business. I get nothing. So at the moment, payroll isn't really a factor. As of for, I'm making enough back to continue batches, and I'm making enough back to say that I am profiting to be able to invest into maybe bigger batches or equipment for when I want to start doing stuff in-house, and even prototypes for designs like Shattered. I'm making a profit. It's just not probably what I should be for market, which is on me. But again, that's where when I make a V2, I'll likely raise the price a bit. I mean, that's pretty common though across all makers. They normally raise their price, except mine is literally just gonna be raising it to get to where it should have been in the first place, more than it would be raising it because I feel like it. As if for a V2, the only two things I would intend to do is probably lengthen the blade to make it a little bit more even, but that might not happen. And the other thing is probably add some kind of surface texture, and you can't see it. Surface texture along this surface here. Very fine. It would just probably be like a really small, slight texture, but something that runs along here and then down into this section down here. But that's going to be a V2, and I'm not in a rush to make a V2 ruined at the moment. So I will say it's modeled to be like not right between light handle bias and neutral, but it's just slightly more light handle bias than halfway, I would say. But that said, again, depending on your tricks, some people did have issues with chaplains, but I do honestly, truly believe that that is not so much a balisong issue more than it is dependent on how someone chaplains. Like, if their form, their way of chaplaining just doesn't fit. Like, if you commonly use heavy balisongs, like titanium 4.5 ounce balisongs or chabs that are like 5 ounce, and you go to something like mine where they're sub 4 ounce, you probably will feel it. Yes, the Zen pins are pressed. I wanted to press them myself, but due to literally my first prototype from the manufacturer being not accurately, I think it was due to the anodizing more than it was just them not accurately machining it. But when I tried to press the pins, I ended up crushing the handles because I needed so much force, and the shim I used to stop it from closing in crushed itself. So yeah, I said, yeah, for the sake of quality control, being able to tell them, hey, you did this wrong, make it right, is much easier than trying to do it myself and screwing up something that I literally can't control. If the hole's filled in because of the anodizing, there's nothing I can do. There are 12 ruins still remaining. Let's see, how would you do if a Chinese company clones the Rift or Ruined? Honestly, I was just thinking the exact same thing today, because I've kind of been noticing that there's I don't know what its name is, but like it's like a BB Balisongs or something like that. I don't know. A few people that followed him, and even some that he's following back, all of a sudden started following me. Like, it seems to be a few of them. I'm not sure if that's gonna end up turning into a hint. Realistically, as of for what would I do, there's literally nothing I can do about it. There's absolutely nothing I can do about it. Of course, they're overseas. There's literally nothing. As of for what I would do that I can do, I keep doing what I'm doing. That's all I can do. All I can do is hope that the community will kind of stick with me on it, being that I'm a small maker. I know people already frown upon clones for stuff like Squid Industries products, even as big as they are. So I can only hope that being a small maker, they will consider purchasing from me. But there's nothing I can do about it. In the end, the original product is more superior than the clone. Clones typically use lower quality parts, lower quality tolerances, and will fail eventually. The ones that don't, like the ones that are like from Arm Shark, I believe, that tend to last longer. All in all, are still clones. I mean, you're not going to go to a Balisong flipping meetup and brag that you have a clone, right? I mean, it's just not the same. Honestly, Jesse, the sponsorship, this isn't trying to plug and say, oh, go get one, but there's almost zero idea as to when I'm going to be picking a sponsor. It can be now, it can be tomorrow, it can be 5 months from now. My only goal with a sponsor is to have at least one sponsor by the end of the year. That is my only goal, but I want to be very precise in who I choose, as I've kind of tried to stay as much as I could. So I wouldn't hold yourself to it, only because even if I was to find someone that I think might be suitable for it, it would be, I don't want to pick them just because I see a good clip or something like that. I want to get to know them as a person. I want to see their consistency as well with their style, their posting, just them in general, how they respond to people, how they talk. Because this person, especially being that it's the first, not just a sponsor in general, essentially would be representing Shattered Concepts, aside from myself. And this person, even if they're the greatest flipper on the planet and have the cleanest and utmost style, have thousands and thousands of views every video, doesn't mean a lot if they ignore all of their comments, and anyone that they do respond to, they're just very negative towards, or just straight up rude, stuff like that. Like, it's not worth it. So a lot's gonna go into that, and it's gonna take time. It's not something that's like I could just talk to a person for a day, see a clip, and be like, yep, that's them. So I wouldn't, for the sake of not, I mean, unless you want to wait and see what happens, that's entirely up to you. I'm not gonna say otherwise, but yeah. Tonto, what's my future plans? Honestly, and this is all just a matter of how things play out, but my intentions are to make stuff in-house. Frankenforge, as an example, is a prime example of what I want to achieve and be like. And realistically, I started that way, but I did not have the right equipment to do it right, ultimately leading me down this path. Yeah, so because I went down this path, I have no choice but to stick with it. I'm using the funds that I gained from this to move into getting the right equipment to do it right. I'm already learning to anodize anodized titanium. I've already researched how to anodize aluminum, but it's a lot more of a process that I can't get into for no reason, since I don't anodize my stuff. But I want to progressively and slowly move into that. As I feel confident in anodizing titanium, as an example. Not that I make a lot of titanium designs, but what I would like to do is ask the overseas company to machine the product, send it, and I'll do the anodizing instead of them doing it. It'll spare a ton of time, as they can machine a lot of the stuff in like a week or two. But the problem is, because they don't outsource, but because they're in China, they have districts. So they're going to send the parts through mail to a different district to have it anodized, which can take a week. Then it's going to come back, which extends the processing a lot. So a lot of stuff I want to do eventually on my own. But unfortunately, machining is a thing that I do not have the money to do on my own at the moment. And down the road, I would like to do. Long term, it's going to be like Frankenforge is what I want to achieve. Get myself a little warehouse or a little facility. Doesn't even matter if I have to build one in the backyard. Get myself a nice setup and do as much as I can in-house. If I still have to outsource certain things like tempering the blades or just that, because I know that can be a little bit iffy, and then I will. But most things I would like to achieve in-house, and eventually, long-term, everything in-house. Do you know someone? Yes, I do. I was in contact with him through email He pre-ordered. I know that. It must have been like a few weeks before I got all the ruins, I believe. But yes, I do know him, Rusty's. See, now that I've actually been talking to, I'm not even gonna lie, I've been talking to Frankenforge. I will get back to the other question, Jesse. I've been talking to Frankenforge, which is where I've actually been picking up some of this stuff, and in general, he's a great guy, without a doubt. Genuinely, I learned what I learned from NRB, Garrett's, or I Am Not the Real Boy on Instagram. Check him out if you haven't already. Fantastic guy, without a doubt. Same thing with Frankenforge. Both amazing people. But yes, I've been talking. I literally just started talking to Frankenforge recently. He's actually sending me some used scrap of titanium. Some of his old handles that I'm actually going to be trying to practice anodizing on. So, and then from there, I just started talking to him. But ever since then, I'm kind of tempted. I want to try to get some of his ballad songs and just try them out for myself. I know you don't want to influence people's style, but I need to make a video today. What should I do? I mean, I'll tell you outright. There's not really a way I can describe it. When it comes to actual flipping style, I'm not too fussed about a style as long as it's fluid, it's clean, it just looks good. When it comes to the actual video and the editing and all that stuff, the less actual edits over the final product of the video, the better. Maybe a little filtering or something like that, great. But if it's gonna have a lot of, like, I'm not a big fan of like static and all that. Static and different effects and all that good stuff. But genuinely, for me, it's more about lighting, scenery, and backgrounds, as well as flipping. As for the ballad song itself, that varies. I mean, every ballad song is going to look different. So for that is going to be completely on its own thing. But when it comes to scenery and backgrounds and stuff, honestly, I reposted someone's video on my Instagram earlier named Henrik. I would check his out. Not so much the flipping styles. Flipping style is hands down amazing, but everyone has their own flipping style. More about his actual his stuff. He does make YouTube videos, I just found out, but a few of them. But his Instagram, he doesn't post videos on his Instagram. He really just does stories. But that video is a very good example. Did you, Rusty's? Where did you? You said you made a podcast. So is it on? Is it like a YouTube podcast? Or are we talking like Spotify? What kind of podcast? Let me do this a little bit more. Oh. Okay, no, that is still right. While I wait for a few more of you guys to type out, I'm gonna try to get back into checking out some of these colors. I think I'm gonna scratch out an old purple though. It didn't settle too right with me. I think old blue looks better. Okay, sick. I mean, I can check it out. It's not gonna do me much good. I don't speak German. But good to know, thank you. I have no idea what you guys said. Even if I watch it, I will have no idea what you guys said. But hopefully good things. Yeah. What's the grip like on the ruined? So, I will tell you that it is bead blasted. Funny story. I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt and just say it was a miscommunication, but honestly, genuinely, it was kind of just their fault. Outright. So the ruined was actually supposed to be a machine finished. It was never supposed to be prototyped. But when bead blasted. When I received my prototype, it was bead blasted, which kind of screwed me. But so I couldn't, and because of the cost of prototyping, it would be ridiculous to be able to ask for 2 more handles, non-bead blasted and anodized, just to feel what it's like. So I kind of just ran with it. The bead blasting didn't feel as bad as others. So I decided to just run with it. And it's not much different than really any other bead blasting. It's got its moments where it's slippery. But otherwise, in my opinion, it's not as bad as some other bead blasting I felt. I mean, I don't know what's different, but it doesn't feel quite as slippery in some situations, and that you would normally expect it to be slippery in. But the best thing I could say is just keep in mind it's bead blasted. And that in itself really is just an answer. For grip, I don't have a texture on Ruined, as I wanted to keep it as simple as possible to make it as cost efficient as possible. But it does have this ridge here, these corner ridges here, on the spine. It's not much, but it's there. You might be able to hardly see it, but this little ridge here. The jimping is quite big, so it should catch on your finger pretty well. And when it comes to fans and well, that doesn't help me, but like choker fans and all that stuff, it's rounded here, which should help, but nothing fantastic for grip. Mr. Microwave Man, I have lots of knife designs I have made in Fusion Tasting when I get prototype made if I don't have my own machines. So there is a lot of places you can go. It depends a lot on budget and expectation. You can look up 3ERP. They are my very first manufacturer, but they are known as a prototyping manufacturer, and because of their well-known brands that they work with, I guess you can say, and other stuff, just mainly advertising, their marketing, they've kind of got a pretty high price point. I could be mistaken on that. To be fair, the design I gave them was a bit on the rough side to make. So I'm not sure. I still think they're expensive, more expensive than some others. If you were to start looking into the boondocks of Google for very small manufacturers in China. But 3ERP is actually a pretty good one if you want to go with something a little bit more well-known. Exometry is the one that markets a lot, and they are pretty overpriced. But if you want to look for something that's pretty inexpensive, Tufa Machining Manufacturing, I'm not sure which one they go by. You can find them under either option, though. They are good for good cost-efficient stuff. The problem is prototyping is inevitably expensive. An aluminum trainer, do not expect anything under $500 for a prototype, and that's each. You're talking about $150 per piece. So 2 handles and a blade. And then include all your hardware and extra stuff that you'd have to buy. And that's almost inevitable. I mean, Exometry, I think they're like $2,000 because they're just overpriced that way. Okay, thank you. I'm going to use my new Thai Kraken. Oh, sick. Well, like I said, I can try to keep an eye out. I'm not sure what I'm doing after this, so I might lose track. But just worst case, DM me the link if you're doing it on YouTube. If not, feel free to just mention me or at me in the story or whatever you're going to do on Instagram. Yeah, we were both impressed by the room. We talked about the design and stuff, and that's good and stuff like that. Okay, fair enough, Rusties. Yeah, it was my second design. I'm still not expecting it to be perfect. I'm hoping Shattered will be, and I'm going to be straight up honest. This will determine whether or not it comes out sooner or not, but I will not release Shattered unless it is essentially perfect. If I can't flip it and be 100% satisfied, I can't expect everyone, because everyone has different preferences and they flip different. But if I'm not 100% satisfied with it, it's not going out. I mean, that's realistically with all my designs. But Shattered is on a different level, as it is my flagship. It's also my first design I've ever made, now altered 4 times. I mean, you name it. In general, it is the holy grail of all my designs. It will be, to my standards, perfect. It may not meet everyone's preferences, and that's all I can say. But to what I enjoy and what I like, it will be perfect. I'm going to record the video. I'll be back if you're still streaming when I'm done. Sounds good, Jesse. I'm sure you're already gone by now, so there's not really a point in me saying this, but odds are I probably won't be. I'm technically already over the hour mark, and I said I was going to be done in 30 minutes to an hour. So I really should be wrapping it up here soon, but yeah. Thank you for stopping in. Yeah, so the sliding just doesn't work. So the rounded corners I wanted to do for stuff like Z chokers mainly for the sake of it being comfortable while also efficient, very smooth, if you will. I mean, this probably isn't accurate, but in my eyes, the way I view it is when you're doing a choker fan, it is spinning between your fingers. You're not doing anything with your thumb. It's spinning between essentially the part of your fingers you can't really control anything with at the same time. It is going to spin, and it's going to spin naturally. Meaning for it to feel the most comfortable and spin the most naturally, it should be round for it to just spin no different than if you were to use like a one of those spinning pens. Up here, I wanted something for your fingers to actually dig into. That way when you try to do a fan or start a fan or anything, it's less likely to slip on you, because at that point your finger digs into these little chamfers. They're kind of not, I can't really show you from here. They act as chamfers, but they are technically rounded. But they act as the same way. As for this, it doesn't do a lot. I mean, it's there. That's about all I can say. Same thing with this. I mean, they're there for grip. I mean, your finger will catch it in the event that you need it, but they're not really going to be doing a ton in place of like a texture. No problem, microwave. I hope that helps. Let me see if I can finish out this list here. So I do believe that raw is probably one of the best looking, even though it is strangely dull. So I'll probably consider this one. So old blue, old raw, orange, blue. Okay, hold on. I hope this doesn't end the stream. Oh, sick. Okay, cool. So it did not end the stream. All right, so they do have a nicer blue like that. Interesting. Okay, so cool. That does give me more options. And that orange might be a little bit darker. Okay. I'll actually flip this around. But, okay. Yeah, definitely going to consider the orange blue. That being the case, I'm going to consider the cotton candy. And actually, hold on. I do know a lot of people like chamfering. Honestly, like, I know a lot of people like square handles. I honestly don't get it. I'm going to be straight up honest. I have a few square handle Balisongs, and while I can do all my tricks with them, it just doesn't feel the most comfortable. And it doesn't feel like it's the most efficient. Okay. Back. So no, they do not have a pink, so the cotton candy one is kind of out of the question. Unless I was to replace it with purple, which just isn't the same. See you around, Rusties. Take care. Cotton candy is out of the question. I like square but rounded handles. So mine are, well, not so much on this one because of the little chamfer thing I created here. But on like Rift, there is nothing on the corners. So what I do with all of mine, again, for the sake of, to me, what I imagine to be the most comfortable thing to flip, is I round this surface because in my eyes, I imagine it to feel the best in the hand, especially with stuff like fans. It'll roll naturally between your fingers and stuff. Some people aren't a massive fan of this because they have a belief, especially with Rift, because of the thinner handles making these rounded corners further in, that when they're flipping it, that it's going to lead to issues when doing stuff like ladders and it's spinning in your hand, which is quite possible. I don't know. I personally don't have issues with it, but again, I'm not everyone. Purple blue. I don't know what blue he wanted, but I'm going to just assume it's a dark blue. Purple. Probably not. Yeah, probably not. For reasons, I actually can't, I just remembered I can't do blue and yellow, so I actually cannot do that. So black and red, how does that look? Black, is that close? That's pretty close. Red. Why would I do that? Don't know. Bang and bang. try red and blue like you said, just out of curiosity. That needs to be brighter. It's not bad. Maybe I'll stick with... Okay. I do believe I have my final colors here. So with that, I do need to end this stream now. So anyone that is still here, which I imagine is Tall, and I don't know who the other is. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Thank you for stopping in and chatting. Nice to meet you guys. I'm not going to say I do streams often. I'm just doing this out of fun. Hey there, Biba. See you around, Tall. Just popped in. What's your favorite? Personally, I'm going to be honest. My favorite looking... This one's kind of 50-50, only because of the fact that some may not be a fan of dual color handles, some might not. So in a single color, to me, the raw probably looks the best. As in just raw aluminum, like so. It looks different. I know blue might also look quite good, but honestly, looking at between the two, something about the raw just kind of looks better. And that and orange and blue, which I know is most known by... that's not the right shade. Something more like that. Quite known by Glider, which probably isn't a great thing, so I'm just going to get compared to Glider in this situation, but I personally like it. It's sharp, but may not suit it the best at the same time. That's why the raw probably looks better, but I like the colors in general. I like the light blue and orange. But yeah. Anyway, I will catch you guys. I do have to end the stream here, though. I'm going to render these out, and I'll probably be posting a poll later on my Instagram. See you around, Biba.